What has been an upside to the lockdown for you? Since I'm disabled, my life hasn't changed. I've really enjoyed watching people who tell me my life is easy since all I do is stay at home. Have breakdowns from only being able to stay at home. I feel this hard, not severely disabled, but PTSD, anxiety, and just very introverted. Everyone since the beginning is like, this must be fun for you. Quote, what would cheer you up, friend? Cards? A drawing? A letter? You are not alone. I'm stressed over not leaving at all, but yeah, as it is, getting out once a week prior to this was hugely social for me. I miss the occasional meal out or being able to pick my kid up from school, but other than that my life is pretty much the same. Begin to pick up hobbies that I didn't think I would have much interest in, like drawing and biking. At least you are being productive. Clapping hands. Light skin tone. How amazing was this time for hobbies, right? With my student loans on hold and not having to pay for gas, lunch while at work. My bank account is more full than I think I've ever seen it. Same. I actually have $1,000 in my checking account and $700 in my savings account. Thanks to the stimulus and getting my tax refund at the same time. Also, I quit smoking weed earlier this year, so saving $120 per paycheck has been a blessing. I have 3 groups of student loans, with all 3 at different interest rates. 2 of the groups are at a pretty low rate, but the 3rd group is actually pretty high. I'm going to take my $1,200 stimulus check and the money I'm not paying toward all the loans and pay off the one high group by the end of the forbearance period. And then keep making the same payment to pay off the other 2 groups faster. I haven't seen certain family members in several months. This, a sad and happy reality for some of us. I've been trying to convince certain family members that I'm sure they'll lift lockdown sometime in 2021. Fingers crossed. And even if I have to, they're on the other side of a screen. We didn't have one of our annual family get-togethers this year. Bless. I've seen my family more in this lockdown than any other time over the years. We started Zooming every night. Same here. And that was before the lockdown. Everybody lives now the same way as my depressed self, and I don't feel like a loser anymore. Cut to me sweating when my country announced the easing of lockdown. As an introvert, it's kinda fun seeing so many of the extroverts suffering in my environment the same way I normally suffer in theirs. Normally I am somehow expected to just deal with it to be productive or normal member of society. Yet now that the tables are turned, suddenly they think this kind of suffering is not okay. Are you me from a parallel universe? You read my thoughts. Def agree about the commute time. But now when I drive, it's so hard to get back in the habit for some reason. More time to learn German, which I have not been doing due to my crippling Reddit addiction. This made me laugh so hard. And it works on so many levels. You just exchange Reddit for video games, or naps, or binge watching The Office for the 10th time, etc. Das schaffst du schon. It's sad to see how having the technology, ITSs like Jira or Trello, and means, internet, to do so. So many companies refuse a remote office style on jobs that can easily accommodate them. All in the name of controlling an employee from what could be perceived as laziness or unwillingness to work, if not at the office or away from the boss, supervisor. Failing to realize that it's such micromanagement and lack of confidence in a person's morals and ethics what actually kills productivity. We can only hope that this pandemic actually makes some companies realize the cost-effectiveness of this and adopt remote policies even after it is over. I've been working from home 4 days per week for several years now. I almost never wear makeup. I refuse to waste it when I'm not in the most and have nowhere to go anyway. Some days I do it just because I need a tomato from the store. But more often than not, I don't see the point in wasting the money. Not to mention, it's much easier to wash a makeup-free face at the end of the day than one with mascara. being around my wife and kids all day, instead of an hour in the morning and a couple hours at night. I've loved spending all this time with my husband. So many things. Longest vacation while still getting paid to work from home ever. And being unable to go anywhere while on the vacation. My work awarded me with 8 hours of leave because I've gone above and beyond during the stay-at-home orders. I'm like, thanks. I'll take the leave next year, I guess. Dude, for the first time in 4 years, I'm not tired. I found myself having to set alarms to prevent myself from sleeping too much. Because I have a body that always wants 10 to 12 hours of sleep while also wanting to be awake 18 to 20 hours. But being able to consistently get a full night is huge. I had to wake up early for a job interview last week and I was riding the struggle bus like crazy. I feel that. High school senior who goes to a rigorous college prep school. First time in 4 years that I have gotten a full night's sleep on a school day. Currently staying up though because I have to write a 4-page size 12 TNR double-spaced graduation speech for my English teacher because he is sad none of his students will ever give a grad speech. Because he doesn't teach high-level English and then record a video of me giving the speech and it was due 2 hours and 19 minutes ago. The plus side is my sister went to Ohio State and said it was easy and I am going to smaller school. And am not double majoring like her. So college should, hopefully, be easier than high school. I started coming into work at 9:45 instead of 8:30 a few years ago and my quality of life improved by a huge margin. I'm convinced there are a ton of people out there who don't succeed at work purely because they aren't wired to get up at the crack of dawn. I'm also convinced I would have been more successful in high school if I could have slept on a bit. Once I got to college and scheduled my classes for the afternoon, I became a straight-A student. Hopefully this pandemic drives into the heads of CEOs that flexibility is a good thing whenever it is possible. I've had to buy gas only twice in 2 months. Aleo since I am working remotely and not buying stuff I don't need. Since Amazon doesn't do 2-day shipping anymore. I saved up enough money to buy a house a year before I planned to. You saved up enough money to shave a year off the home buying process from just 2 months not driving and online shopping. That's also lesser carbon footprint. Clapping hands, light skin tone. For me, I still have a job, but it's just got a lot easier with less people around and less work to complete. Mentally, I'm actually in a great place right now. I've had more time for my hobbies, spent more time with my fiancé, and I've actually built a much stronger bond with my parents. No, I don't live with them. Right before lockdown, my husband was diagnosed with a serious and scary condition that they couldn't treat right away. It's been a blessing that during this time, while we wait for treatment, he saved 3 hours a day that would have otherwise been spent in a hellish commute. His hours were cut so he's not working 10-hour days. He's not exposed to the common cold and viruses we all share when we're in the office. He is a stubborn workaholic, so getting him to do any of these things on his own would never have worked. I hope your husband is doing okay and he gets the treatment he needs soon. I'm so happy for you both that you get this relief. Smiley face. Not having to see people. I was able to spend the last 3 months of my cat's life with her nearly 24/7. I knew the end was coming, so I was able to snuggle and give her as much love as possible even while I worked. She passed on Friday. I am so sorry for your loss, but what a lovely gift it was to spoil your cat with love. Intense 24/7 masturbation. Nice Dick Moy Eye statue. I wonder if scar tissue could possibly develop down there. Type that left-handed, didn't you? Fucking everything. I finally have time to do my schoolwork. I'm actually able to enjoy some of it. I'm reading books, exercising intensely, finally getting the hours I need to get my driver's license, actually wearing comfortable clothes. Absolute private school problem. Listening to new music. Watching movies. Not talking to my friends. Sounds awful. but it feels like a burden I've shed. And even drinking enough water. My piss used to look like syrup. I hope when things are more normal you're still able to keep up the exercise and water. That's very epic, but could have gone without that last phrase. Okay, sign. Fucking everything. I choose to take this out of context. No traffic and the cops aren't pulling anyone over. The interstates are basically like the Autobahn now. Same. I still report to work. But on my best day, was able to shave about 10 minutes off my 40-plus minute commute. While some of that time saving comes from speeding, most of it is just the reduction in traffic. Kinda bummed it's starting to pick back up again. Sleep. Yeah, our schedule is so messed up. We wake at noon and sleep at AM. I'm worried about how this all affect the young ones. Like a sloth. I got married 4 months earlier than planned and it's been wonderful so far. Congrats. I can imagine this benefiting the honeymoon phase. I still have to go to work. And honestly nothing else has changed aside from throwing on a mask to get groceries. I lead a very secluded life, I've learned. Almost straight same. If it wasn't for my youngest graduating high school this year I wouldn't have much noticed work in automotive, so business as usual, except oh yeah, your child's senior year is now just a meme. My wallet is happier than ever. Saving a lot of money that would have otherwise been spent on gas, food and entertainment, I guess. I've discovered a new hobby, gardening. Currently growing a host of vegetables and flowers. I'm making 3 times as much money on unemployment. I invested a lot in playing the electric guitar. I only started playing 2 years ago and the pastime was very useful to get on a higher level. Even started writing my own stuff. I feel less crazy watching everyone lose their shit at not being able to go outside. I've been going for nature walks and seeing things never noticed before. Was forced to take on my mental health head on. Less distractions to ignore it. Got officially diagnosed. Doing treatment, and honestly I don't feel like I'm fighting myself anymore. I don't feel disconnected from myself, as if my body was a car and my brain the driver. I feel one. It's great. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed by it because I didn't realize what damage I was doing to myself. I'll get incredibly sad by it, but it also feels good. I can actually feel the emotions and it's amazing. Solidarity, friend. The past couple years I've been taking on my lifelong depression, ADHD, and anxiety. In my adult years, I developed PTSD and 6 months ago diagnosed borderline personality disorder. I was in an intensive, daily, outpatient therapy program right before quarantine started. I felt like I was making headway. But the time quarantine had allowed me has made me realize so much more. Turns out, you can't effectively teen angst away childhood trauma. My newest diagnosis is CPTSD. And honestly it's as relieving as it is a terrifying battle. My feeling one with my brain doesn't feel quite as big for me. Yet, I'm encouraged by your celebration, though, and want to thank you for sharing. Cleaner air. Have you seen those Nepal pics? Not having to make excuses for not wanting to be around people. Oh, and the crystal clear skies lately. I fly balloons and the air has been so incredibly clear. I've never seen it look so good in the Sacramento Valley. I used to buy takeout every day and I knew I was blowing cash. Bought an Instant Pot before everything went down and I love this thing. I haven't bought outside food at all for months and I still can't believe how much money is still in my account. Plus, the food I'm making is insanely good and super fast. Recipe recommendations? I went into full-blown hermit mode and for a few shining weeks I was socially responsible, instead of asocial and weird. I enjoyed spending my time the way I like. Creating stuff, drawing, writing, sewing, without having the feeling in the back of my mind that I was just wasting time waiting to drag my ass to work again. I made some really neat stuff because the threat of having to go out among people the next day wasn't hanging over me and bouncing me out of the zone. Didn't have to actively avoid meeting my fresh ex-boyfriend. We share a group of friends realizing I am more of an introvert than I thought I was. My husband is able to help with our 1-year-old son. It's been really good for all three of us. I love staying indoors at the computer. I was surprised seeing other people in IT say they prefer going to work. My mental health is recovering. Spending a lot of time with my dog. I've been buying half as much gas lately and paying much less for it. I still have to commute to work, but socializing being eliminated has cut at least 100 miles of driving every week out of my life. Practiced cooking more dishes and improved tenfold. Got to spend more time with my wife, exploring international cinema together. I got furloughed, which allowed me the time to finish renovating my new daughter's bedroom, and I am looking at potentially months of paid paternity leave instead of weeks PTO. My old job that I hated temporarily closed due to the virus, so that finally gave me the motivation to find a new job that I've actually been enjoying. I played video games with someone who had been offline for over a year. I got to complete another playthrough of Fallout New Vegas. Maxed out a bunch of characters. Not having to listen to my toxic family, so nice. Before the lockdown, my employer, a large government agency, insisted that it was positively dangerous for people to take work home, log in remotely, etc. Now they're talking about how well it worked out, and the powers that be are planning to retain the ability to work from home. I haven't had to wait 20 to 40 minutes for a cab. I lived away at school and had a post-grad thing set up so that I was going to move directly from school to a different city. Getting locked down at home with my parents and siblings has been nice to really spend some time together before I go off and do the whole adult thing. I've had the time to figure out a body weight fitness routine instead of just half-assing one workout here and there. Read about 10 books. Bought some great vinyls. Lots of weed to de-stress. Lots of sex. And I'm writing a ton of articles and working on my book. I'm a freelance writer working towards his first novel. It's been great beyond the being stuck part. And my wife and I have gotten stronger. And we are now somehow in a much better financial position than I ever thought possible before this started. I was home to see my son walk for the first time. Finals were coming and wasn't prepared. Got promoted to next class without exams. Over 230 hours on Zelda BOTW. 90 hours on ACNH. 40 hours more on Fortnite. Near the end of the Marineford arc in One Piece, and plenty of time to get my things together to apply for college. I was approved for unemployment, and from what I've seen so far, it's possible that I'll be earning the most amount of money in more than 5 years. Part of me is happy, but another part of me is sad that I'm making more now than when I legitimately busted my ass at low-level minimum wage jobs. Self-published my first book. It's been great. I've rewatched my film collection, managed to increase my KDR on several games, and been very active in my D&D community by organizing online games. It's been fantastic. Best of all, my dad isn't dragging me to the shop and slapping a $5 in my hand to add another film to my collection so I don't open my mouth about his affair to my mom. A $5 is all it takes to buy your silence. Damn, I'd be charging $30 a day. I've been very productive and have accomplished quite a lot of things. More time for hobbies. Shitloads of overtime. I can't wait until it's over so I can time off and stay at home for a bit. Traffic is WAAAY down so I can go to work without issue. I've enhanced my skills in my free time. Downloaded and have been teaching myself through editing with Illustrator and Photoshop. Also, I've been slowly learning the ins and outs of creating, running a website. Also smoking a lot of pot, which is an upside to some, but not all. 1. I get to watch more animes than usual. It is like escape from reality for me. 2. I am able to improve my sketches and drawings. 3. I get to be alone most of the time, which is the most happiest thing for me. Every day is Casual Friday. I haven't had to iron any clothes for a couple of months. I haven't had to deal with lying to friends for a while. I'm a gay atheist and I know all my friends from church. Southern Baptist in the southeastern U.S. So none of them know I'm gay, but none know I'm an atheist. I feel bad lying to them, but I don't want them to look down on me. Intense dieting and workouts have helped me lose like 25 to 30-ish pounds. Plus I've gotten to talk to my online friends a lot more and we've gotten way closer than we already were, not having to go to my god-awful job. I have a greater appreciation for the people I live with and a renewed love of living in a rural area. Stay strong and safe, internet friends. I've been working 6 days a week for 5 years without a vacation. I finally got some time off. More time to grind. I work in an office with approximately 60 employees. Everyone has been working from home except me and 4 others, including my work crush. We've definitely gotten closer and he's been paying more attention to me. I adopted a cat during the lockdown, so now I get to spend extra time getting to know him. Inventor here. My day job is flight attendant. Essential. I was able to switch from working to being on call, so I spent a lot of time home. I designed and 3D printed a toy expansion kit. It's the hover wheels for a Hot Toys Back to the Future time machine. I met the YouTuber who was super hot in the community and it took off. So I made a few sets here and there. Not making millions, but still gave me the time to make a few sets. Since working from home, I've discovered there is beautiful sunlight that pours into my kitchen. My workstation is set up on my kitchen table and it makes me incredibly happy. Recently continued my gardening hobby. Played some games I bought a year ago and hadn't played till now. Finished God of War Yakuza 0, gonna start on Kingdom Hearts 3 and after Persona 5. Also started going to the gym since I tried at home, but it was one of those I don't want to cause I rather game situation. Found I enjoy a gym where there's others who are solely focused on themselves, so I can do the same for myself. Not having to pay for daycare. No traffic to and from work. Online shopping sales through the roof. My husband turning into a stay-at-home dad. Lost contact with what I realized to be toxic friends. Began cooking at home and for the most part one only eat what I cook. My weakness is takeout buffalo wings. I'm down 23 pounds. I also stopped drinking entirely after the first week of lockdown as I realized just how perfect this situation is for starting an extremely bad habit. An abundance of free time to get some writing done. I'm currently on chapter 11 of my first attempt at an original novel. It's good going to realize that I'm not the hardcore loner that I had always thought to be and that I need to reconnect with people socially. Same. A bit of an awakening. Well, I'm an essential worker who hasn't missed a single shift. The traffic has been great. People not standing so close to me and being in my personal space. I've noticed that I've gotten no robocalls since April. Started my PhD and have had months of just doing background research and learning computing-based skills for my field. Normally I'd have been stacked with experiments and classes as well. It's given me a much better understanding of the subject matter. Less traffic on the road. I'm a remote contract worker. A major ongoing stress is that eventually companies get big enough to want someone in-house or happen upon a cheap local option. COVID-19 has leveled the playing field and I'm as good as the local option. So it ironically created job security. I've since become the go-to person for what headset to get and advice on managing remote teams is. I've always been remote. I feel guilty increasing my income while others struggle. I don't have to wear a bra. Hooray. Edit while working from home lol. Wife realized how toxic her bosses are. Decided to quit. Found a new job with a better career path and a higher hourly rate. She knew her previous bosses were bad, but she didn't realize how bad they really are. I got me a shiny Shiinotic and Pokemon Shield after 264 eggs. I've been very depressed since my husband died and don't want to go and see people or meet up or anything. Everyone pushes it because they think it's good for me. And this year was apparently going to be the year of weddings. Now I don't get pressured into socializing with people I'm basically required to keep in touch with. And I don't have to endure another painful wedding. Let me be angry and bitter at home. I was able to pay off 3 credit cards. I don't have to make excuses to stay away from people anymore. I finally got the chance to read some books I've been putting off for a while. I met someone amazing online, and as soon as this fucking lockdown is over, we're going out. As far as we can tell, we are both perfect for each other. We both have the same views on religion and life, and our interests are basically the same. And even though we never met yet, she motivates me every goddamn day cause she knows that which I am trying to achieve is not easy. I motivate her as well because the career path she chose is tough, but she's really good at it. I've actually never been happier in my life. My family and ex-girlfriends never ever believed in me the way she does. I'm a bit more confident. When I went to school I never wanted to do much and I just wanted to fade into the background, because I was scared at what the other kids would think. But now, I'm just being myself. I've ridden my bike 1,000 plus miles since March. I've lost about 10 pounds. My thighs are gorgeous right now. No Jehovah's Witnesses knocking on my door. All the kinky sex me and Wi-Fi has had. Exclamation mark. The Epic Store giving games away for free has led me to try genres of games I've never played. My parents bought me and my sis an Xbox, but she doesn't use it much anyway, so I get it pretty much the whole day. I was able to pay off my credit card since I'm grocery shopping more and not getting takeout all the time. People tip delivery drivers more. My summer tan is already here. My wife is working from home. Our evenings are longer and we eat lunch together most days. No commuting. Not having to physically be in school. IDK, I can't really see an upside. Nothing. There has been no upside. Any upside seems to be swiftly counterbalanced by the fact that I'm living in a fucking pandemic that's out of control in a country run by assholes. Gaming. No reason. I didn't have existential crisis before. The part where I don't see people. As a divorced dad that is working from home and an ex that can't work from home, more time with my kids. It's been like a long vacation more than anything. My husband and I both travel a lot for our jobs, so we hardly saw each other in January, February. We already mostly worked from home anyways, so while our travel stopped, we both kept getting paid to do a lot less work and hang out. I've got more time to prepare for entrance exams into colleges in India. I have done so many house projects that would have otherwise been put off indefinitely. I've also gone through all my stuff and sold a lot of things online that I really don't need, making my house much less cluttered. Downside is I have to do this all with 2 kids in the house, which makes everything far more difficult than it should be. Music boxes are lit. Nothing. I got a phone. Car prices in our area tanked, so we were able to get a much needed, bigger car with less than 37,000 miles for under $9,000. Hooray. I have a lot more time to focus on digital art. No sex. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Started working out, started my own company. Getting stronger with my mental health. It has forced me to see how totally alone I am. Just had a major surgery to have my colon removed, so it's not like I'd be going anywhere anyway. Got a job I wouldn't have got, plus have been living with my girlfriend and bonded to a different level with her family. I haven't had to see my girlfriend's family in months. My 14-month-old daughter and wife are constantly back and forth to the hospital. Most days are 4 to 5 consecutive days. Being in lockdown has greatly helped traffic in my wife's mental state. She isn't missing out on anything because no one is doing anything. I got the chance to try my hand at cutting my husband's hair. I had offered to do it before, but he was too scared to let me try. Now that he had no other choice, he let me do it. And I actually did a pretty good job. Not having to see people, also not having the fear of not being a good friend cause you don't wanna hang out as much. I don't have to finish my senior project. For whatever reason, I haven't felt motivated to do it even before the virus spread, even though I could motivate myself to do every other assignment. I am always worrying about the environment, and lockdown has helped it a lot. Dolphins have returned to Venice. No school. I've been spending a lot less money and cooking more. Not having to interact with food delivery people. Answering the door for a takeaway used to make me anxious as shit. Spending so much more time with my son. I'm actually getting used to homeschooling. Feels good to see him developing and getting better at his schoolwork. More people are online and buying stuff online. I found a real passion. I've been trying to get into drawing for years, but it never clicked. But I started musical memorizing and I'm loving it. I also started writing too. Learned to film, edit and produce VR 180 videos, and have just filmed a newborn full in virtual reality VR 185.7K. World first. Making free VR 180 content during lockdown to help people relax. Was so lucky it was born in the field in front of me. Being with new life is such an antidote to the death and gloom. You can be with full 2 on its first day. Find exclusive original videos and VR 180 content on Skywatcher VR channel, with much more to come. We NHS staff in my city have been getting free bus travel. My grades went up. I got a cat. I don't have to take my English exam. I got a job after being unemployed for 8 months. Bonus points because it's work from home. Double bonus because it pays well and I'm already on track for a promotion. Was able to sell my car and pay off my credit card bills and loans. I've lost 50 pounds and am in better shape than I have been in a very long time. Physically and mentally. I got my diploma without having to take the national exams. Nobody can force me to be social. What has been an upside to the lockdown for you?